Turkey is stretching its political footprint and ambitions, from the central Mediterranean to western China, but there are lessons of tolerance and modernization to take from its Ottoman legacy and its modern political sponsors, the US and Germany. But on the surface, Turkey is a midget. Its gross domestic product, GDP, of less than $800 billion is almost a third of Italy's, and certainly not the size of a geopolitical giant. But let's look at how Turkey is reviving the Ottoman Empire.
Türkiye, Türkiye'den büyüktür. Bunu böyle bilin. Yani biz 780 bin kilometre kareye hapsolamayız. Çünkü bizim fiziki sınırlarımız başkadır, gönül sınırlarımız bambaşkadır. Musul'daki, Kerkük'teki, Haseke'deki, Halep'teki, Humus'taki, Mısrata'daki, Üsküp'teki, Kırım'daki, Kafkasya'daki kardeşlerimiz fiziki sınırlarımız dışında olabilir. Ama hepsi gönül sınırlarımızın içindedir, kalbimizin tam ortasındadır. Devlet ve millet tarihimizi 90 yılla sınırlandırmaya kalkanlara izin vermeyeceğiz. İlk öğretimden itibaren, ki bunu artık anaokulları diyoruz, itibaren ders kitaplarının bu çerçevede yeniden gözden geçirilmesi dahil milletimizi tarihiyle, kültürüyle, medeniyetiyle buluşturacak her türlü adımı süratle atmalıyız.
However, it has a population of 85 million and claims to represent tens of millions of Turkic people spread around Asia. It claims the legacy of the Muslim Caliphate and the historic victory over the Byzantines in 1453, and it is a global superpower that could play a major role in the fight that just started against China. Turkey under Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been spreading its wings in the region and beyond. Yet, this latest incarnation is not just the brainchild of the president. Since the fall of the Soviet Empire, there has been mutual interest between Turkey and the Turkic peoples of Central Asia. Turkey has proved its mettle in recent years in containing and beating both Iran and Russia in Syria and Iraq. Although Ankara has also been cracking down within Turkey and in former northern Iraq on the aspirations of the Kurds, the darlings of many Western liberals, Turkey has been the most effective force hemming in Iran, which was supporting Syria's Assad goals. Turkey also managed at the same time to restrain and apparently root out the Islamic State, which had been a constant threat for the Western world. Ankara stopped the flow of immigrants from Syria into Europe, giving breathing space to the European Union, which was almost flooded and overwhelmed by the immigrant problem. That is, Turkey managed to deliver and became de facto the bulwark of NATO in the region, and it could project itself east and west, of course, for each service. Ankara claimed reward, but this further enhanced its bargaining position. Then perhaps it's no surprise that the intelligence services of the US, the United Kingdom, and France are now all headed by experts on Turkey, all fluent in Turkish. For the past couple of years, Americans had been urging Italy to move into Tripoli in support of the local government and to regain control after the Russians moved in with volunteers and equipment in support of East Libyan General Haftar. Moreover, Turkey could play a crucial role in the geopolitical fight against China. 8 million Uyghurs represent about 0.5% of the Chinese population, yet their political activism far outweighs their numbers. Xinjiang, home of the Uyghurs, is about a quarter of the Chinese territory. To regain effective control of the region, Beijing has undertaken a controversial campaign to allegedly send 1 million Uyghurs to re-education camps. These people, although suppressed and with little sympathy among the Han population in China, are an extremely thorny problem for Beijing. Their leaders out of China have a good understanding of Chinese politics, unlike their Tibetan counterparts. This is very different from the Uyghurs. Now, of course, the campaign of re-education and the massive flow of Han, China's ethnic majority, immigration into Xinjiang could very well undermine any clout the local population has. However,
China used to deny that these places exist. But now we're being given a tour. The message? These are schools, not prisons.
他们受到一定的极端思想感染以后，为了就是把自己思想里面的极端思想的感染程度去除。
But the more we ask, have you been convicted of a crime?
我没有犯罪，我就是犯的错。
How often are you...
the appeal of the Uyghur cause could be very strong in Central Asia, especially if backed by the Turkic legacy and an American drive. Turkic people in Central Asia are extremely divided and at odds with one another because of ancestral tribal feuds and new frictions between their newly established states. Yet they all look to Istanbul as their cultural cradle. Turkey's outreach into Central Asia, right at the heart of one of China's most controversial issues, could become very important if it manages to mobilize and unite modern Turkic populations of Central Asia in an anti-Beijing stance. Many of those states, despite their differences, have growing qualms with Beijing as they follow the fate of their fellow Turkic Uyghurs. In this sense, the economic weaknesses of Turkey and its inability to get its economy together could prove to be an asset in disguise. With overblown political ambitions and little economic strength to back it up, Turkey becomes more dependent on its patrons, the US and Germany, in place of the European Union. In this situation, Turkey could be rewarded even further with a greater role in the Mediterranean. Turkey would create a three seas link: the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, and the Caspian Sea, all lined up by a Turkish presence. This would be a Turkish Silk Road with anti-Chinese connotations that could be supported by India, the European Union, and the United States. This support would be essential for Turkey. After the 1453 victories in the old days of war and conquest, the Ottomans established a monopoly on the eastern Mediterranean and Central Asia that eventually forced the European to reach Asia from the west, something that led to the discovery of America and the eventual demise of the Turks, then a modern caliphate there north, to avoid the mistakes of the past and gain as many friends as possible rather than enemies. Some countries may be unhappy with Turkish global ambitions: Egypt, Greece, Israel, and Italy, although firmly in the Western camp, are ill at ease with the new Turkish posture. However, none of them alone or in the alliance can make up for the services that Turkey has provided and could provide in the future, yet Turkey cannot just depend on American good offices to get along with these countries. The main goal that the United States envisions now is the containment of China. It is therefore very unlikely that these countries would openly go against American wishes or even try to undermine them. This brings the ball back into Erdogan's court. But at the height of the empire, the Ottomans were a very complex reality. Turkey needs to set in motion its economy, and for this, it needs friends and a more liberal internal society. Without an efficient economy and friends, all political dreams go bust. The oil of Arab friends, clients, sold at declining prices, can't last long. Moreover, Ankara needs to reconcile with its past. The recent past is the grudge over not being admitted to the EU. Now it's clear that it was a blessing in disguise. If Turkey had been in the EU, it could not have pursued its geopolitical goals. And, given the poor performance of its economy, it might now be in a worse crisis than Italy or Greece, and the dealings with the EU could have further soured Turkish sentiments. Furthermore, Ankara needs to reach out to Greeks and Armenians who for centuries had been an integral part of the Ottoman Empire. The break in relations with the two Christian groups also contributed to the fall of the empire. If Turkey wants a glimmer of its past, it has to find a new future with these two important neighbors, and this could also start by recognizing many of its mistakes, the ethnic and religious persecutions of the past. With this, the future of Central Asia